Many people, many people came to Terry's funeral. He was a very popular child. Everyone loved him. He was Kaysen's twin brother, too. The person he should have been the closest to. But now, Kaysen visited his wake. He prayed for his happiness and peace in the afterlife. But immediately after the funeral, Kaysen's mother pulled him away, and then she embraced Kaysen, sobbing. Her entire body was shaking. Seeing that, Kaysen realized with horror that his own mother had known, and yet, even then, she was desperately trying to reach out to him. With a hoarse, choked voice, she whispered into her son's ears, tears welling up in her eyes. "Kaysen, please, I beg of you, please listen to me. She kneels on the floor and wiped the tears from her son's cheeks. You must not get angry. Kaysen, you must not hate. You must not cry. Alright? Kaysen, you're not like the other children. You're different. Don't go near your friends anymore, or something horrible might happen again, like with Terry. So please." Through choked tears, Kaysen whispers, "Am I not a human being?" She smiled tearfully and gently shook Kaysen's shoulders reassuringly. "Of course you are, Kaysen. You're a lovely, lovely little boy. You're my son, so please listen to me. Just follow these steps. Stop. Don't despair. Be happy. Smile. And everything will be alright." His mother never told anyone about his abilities. She took that secret to the grave, her painful, fiery grave, which probably reminded her of her son. Coyle puts the phone down. With an accomplished grin, he ticks the name Kaysen Voltaire off his list of potential recruits. Now for the next person. Coyle? In the next room, somebody stirs. He pauses. "Are you awake now, my boy?" Boy tries to raise his head from the pillow, but slumps down immediately from the sharp pain in his collarbone. "Ow, ow, ow, ow. Don't move around now. You're still healing." Coyle says that, but Henry has already fallen back into a deep slumber. Coyle resumes his work, even though the boy managed to survive his attack with a bullet grazed at the collarbone. The shock from both loss and trauma would probably put him out of commission for a while. For now, the more useful tool would be his sister. "Iris, are you still there?" "Yes, Mr. Coyle." The cowering girl emerges from Henry's side, her expression downcast, her dress bedraggled. "You've been sitting here for a while now. Your dedication to your brother's health is admirable, but for now, you have to get yourself changed and take a rest. His health isn't going to drastically improve just by you being here, I'm afraid." "No, Mr. Coyle, you're right. It's alright. I'm really alright." "You don't sound alright to me." He looks down at her feet. Simon Coyle surveys this light-haired, docile girl through his reading spectacles. Just a few hours ago, this girl, Iris Lenore, servant of the Goldstein family, had arrived at the Temple of Holy Light out of sheer luck. Under accusation from the police for being behind the murder of her employer, Malia Goldstein, she had broken into a frenzy and escaped from them. As tragic as Iris's fate was, she sure was lucky for managing to end up in a place which would protect her, and at the very least, where her brother too had been saved from possible death. Her clothes are drenched from the rain, but right now Iris refuses to get herself cleaned up. "You really should go take a break. You don't have to overexert yourself." "Mr. Coyle, sir? Thank you for saving my brother. I wouldn't know what to do if he died. After all that happened to Mr. and Mrs. Goldstein, too. Miss Chloe needs both my brother and me. If we were gone, she'd be devastated. I owe you more than my own life. You don't owe us anything. There was no way we could leave Henry bleeding there to be found by the pack of wolves from the Wilshire Corporation. After all, we're just glad we could save him. Please, sir. Yes, Iris? Please let me join the National Liberation Front. Exactly the words Coyle wanted to hear. Are you sure? No, definitely not. A girl like you, it'll be too much for you. Please, Mr. Coyle. I don't need anything else. I just want to take revenge for Henry and Mr. and Mrs. Goldstein. The Wilshire Corporation can't be evil. But if all of us work together against them, I'm sure we can win. Thank you. I'm touched. It's not often that we see a girl as dedicated as you, Iris. Coyle extends a hand, and Iris grabs it gratefully. Welcome to the team. The girl stands in the center of the training room, sword in hand, deep in concentration. Grasping her precious rapier, she draws a beautiful arc in the air. She knows she isn't supposed to hold it in both hands, but it's a habit. She likes it this way. Her fencing abilities are far from truly masterful, but with her inborn power of death and decay, a single slash or stab to the enemy will be enough to guarantee her victory. Thus, that is all that Sho is training for now. After a few strikes, she leans against the wall and begins to examine her sword adoringly. Rapier of the perfect length, thin and lightweight, yet durable, perfect for her. A year ago, Eric passed the sword to her. She hasn't parted with it since. He said the precious owner was a master swordsman who died in a car crash. None of his family members own a license to carry a sword, thus it was confiscated by the government. Sho still distinctively remembers the name of that previous owner. Nash Voltaire. A fencing champion. A loving father to his only son. A loving husband to his loving wife. A perfect family. A perfect man. The perfect family indeed. A forgiving bunch, an idealistic bunch. Sho isn't jealous of them. About 5 years ago, Nash and Tanya Voltaire passed away in an unfortunate car accident, leaving behind their only son, Cason. Kai. She feels that it is a bit of a waste for such a perfect couple to have their lives ended up in a car crash, a meager car crash. If they had wanted to go off, they should have gone off in a flashier way. Or they shouldn't have let themselves die at all. A security guard stands by the doorway, breathing heavily, clearly extremely irritated. Careful with that door, Vincent. That old man won't like it very much if you break it. Scoffing, Vincent crosses his arms. That's Mr. Bailey to you. Mr. Bailey, yes, I apologize for my lack of manners, Vincent. Aren't you supposed to be at the hospital crying rivers over your darling brother, Vincent? What are you doing here? You know very well what you did. If it weren't for you, always you, Richard wouldn't have been hurt. It's all your fault. Sho realizes, amused that this clueless security guard has no idea who she actually is. All he thinks is that Sho is a random roadside girl whom Eric had taken a liking to and hired as an assistant. And to him, Richard was injured because Sho had decided to go out on a road trip in the middle of the night. On second thought, maybe it's good that you aren't by his side right now. Your nagging voice will probably drive him into his grave. You. Reaches to the holster at his belt where he keeps his gun. Don't be rash. Eric won't be happy. It's always the young Master Faraday, huh? I don't know what the heck he sees in you. Taking you in as an assistant so randomly, and even letting you play around and make a fuss. Clucks his tongue in distaste. Seriously. Certainly, he must be trying to provoke some kind of reaction. Sho simply watches him, tilting her head slightly, expecting him to continue. Hey, what's with that sword, huh? Another present from Eric Faraday? Aren't you holding it wrong? You aren't supposed to hold a rapier with both hands. He's a security guard for nothing. Guns, blades, he knows them all like the back of his hand. She twitches slightly. If he wanted a reaction, he's got it. This is the first time someone's commented on the way she holds her sword. She knows it's inefficient. But she does it anyway, oddly enough. I like it this way. Eric said sports are good for you, you know? She looks at him from the corner of her eye, smirking. It's sad for your brother, though. The only sport he can play now is consuming sustenance from a pipe. Why, you... That's a pretty good skill to have. I'll cheer him on. You brat, I'll kill you. Reaching for his holster, he pulls out a gun. Vincent doesn't want to kill the girl. He can't, of course. That would be terrible for Eric to see when he gets back. So he keeps a safety catch on in case he fired out of a sudden bout of anger. He should teach his brat that she can't just get what she wants all the time. Perhaps with a gun pointed at her, Vincent thinks, that girl may realize that she's in the wrong and wipe that smug smile off her face. Vincent only thinks. She clicks her tongue, a little pitifully. Vincent is as good a bodyguard as any for Eric, except for that he has quite the temper. Vincent's hand holds the gun, the safety still clicked firmly on. He shouldn't be threatening Eric Faraday's assistant like that. Yet, Vincent Bailey is absolutely furious. Thought of his own brother lying in a hospital, unconscious, injured. He couldn't control himself. He grit his teeth. It is no longer just for what happened to Richard. To watch his employer, Eric Faraday, pretty much throw everything away just for a bratty girl makes his blood boil. But he's found the wrong person to antagonize. She puts one foot in front of her and can't hold back a grin. Something in her breaks out, the urge to kill every single time. Feels it and stops in his tracks, a sense of dread filling him. However, from the look in Sho's eyes, he's probably much too late. You asked for it. Let's not attack. She stops herself for a second. That was more than enough. Instead, she backs away a few steps towards the phone at the corner of the room, surveying the now quizzical Vincent Bailey. Give me a second, Vincent. Huh? What? Hello? Eric, it's me. I'm in danger, you see. What are you doing? You're with Richard Bailey, I presume. You're in a position to terminate his life at any time, I suppose? That's good. Now listen. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, I won't. Ah, you were saying something, Vincent? Forgive me, Eric. It appears that Vincent wants to say something. Well, Vincent? Vincent tenses. Naturally, anybody could tell that Sho definitely isn't serious. But her very act clearly shows Vincent who has the upper hand here, and it isn't him. I'm sorry, Miss Ryland. Let my anger get the better of me. And? Casual flick of the phone, and with her right hand still keeping a firm grasp on the hilt of her sword, Sho smirks heavily and glares at her. I should have known better than to let my emotions get the better of me. Over the likes of you. That's nice. It appears that you've learned an important life lesson today. You ought to thank me. Screw you. Screw you too. Dirty look in his eyes, he turns and begins to stalk off. What do you mean call him out? Whatever. Slams behind him. Then he's gone. Oh. Dang, man. How long's it been? 2 hours. Oh my good lord. Let's continue. Almost done, right? I hope. Cho lounges around in her room for the next few hours, staring at the ceiling in boredom. It is a nice creamy color, just a little short of white. There's something about that color which she just rubs her the wrong way. It's too clean, too spotless, too pure to be normal. She doesn't like it, not at all. But naturally, Eric would flip if she got a paintbrush anywhere near his favorite walls, so she'll have to grin and bear it. A sharp rapping on the door knocks her out of her thoughts. Scowling, she approaches the door and steps into the hallway. What? Raylan, are you in there? Nope, I am out there. What are you looking for? I don't know, Sherlock Holmes. Master Faraday is looking for you. No way. Did I do something wrong today? Think back. Did you do something wrong in the past few days? Nope. Oh, shut the hell up and come with me. Sure, this sounds like fun. The room is full of papers, the smell of leather, and Eric's overinflated ego. Being in Eric's room is bad news. Being in Eric's room when he is in a good mood is especially bad news. Cho? Yes, sir. You have never called me sir. No, sir. Heard you got into a fight with Vincent today. It was nothing. Eric shoves a stack of papers to a corner of the table and raises an eyebrow skeptically. It was nothing? Nothing, sir. If you don't believe me, you can ask Vincent. I'm sure he'll say there's nothing too. Of course, Eric doesn't believe that. His brother is in the hospital because of you. Of course he'd be mad. No, he wasn't mad at all. He was normal and perfectly happy. Eric glares at her and ignores the comment. It is your fault, you know. How is it my fault? So the whole case in Voltaire thing doesn't ring a bell to you anymore? I didn't tell him to hurt Richard. He did it himself. He was after you. Cho's eyes snap up. Oh yeah, I suppose that makes sense. But still, it's not my fault, old man. I didn't tell him to come after me. You kind of did. But anyway, my point now is that Vincent is a pretty good bodyguard. If you turn him into marshmallows, I'm going to get mad, you know. Oh, mad Eric, brr, scary. Ha ha, very funny. Anyway, speaking of Richard. Shh. I feel like being sarcastic. So, am I supposed to say something here? Yeah. Pass the cinnamon, please? You're hopeless. Anyway, I think we should pay him a visit sometime in the next few days. Ooh, sounds fun. You are specifically forbidden from spreading your happy powers of death and destruction for the period of time we're there. Is that clear? Okay. She looks around boredly. So anyway, am I free to roam around for the rest of the day? No, I don't think you should. That's not fair. Why? Because things are turbulent nowadays. We should be on our guard, in case there's a terrorist attack. If you are a trumpet card against them. Are you still afraid of the National Liberation Front? Come on, what are the chances they'll attack in a few hours, when I won't be around? Besides, Vincent's here to protect you. See, I let him live, because he was so devoted to you. It was touching and stuff. I said no, and that means no. Cho pauses, pretending to think. Oh shit. God damn it. I just skipped like 20 minutes because I accidentally didn't let go of the freaking spacebar. Oops, sorry, just Eric, damsel in distress extraordinaire, daddy crazy hermit who doesn't leave his room. Whatever. Now go back to your room and keep a lookout for the National Liberation Front, okay? Fine. You know, we can't just Why can't we just find out where the National Liberation Front's headquarters are and spray them all with humanicide? You make it sound like it's easy to tell where they are. Ah, well then. Don't worry, if I ever get notice of where those pests are, I'll let you lead the raid. You mean, let me lead the raid? Pun not intended, and your jokes are terrible. Anyway, yeah, as long as you promise to leave none of them alive. That's my specialty. I do that even without being told. I know. Well then, see you. Eric nods. She leaves the room and scans the hallways. The building is full of guards, and more guards. Maybe 1 or 2 servants, but that's all. Eric and his father have other personnel, but none of them work at this building. This building is, indeed, the Faraday's impenetrable fortress. Or so it seems, because after all, the Faradays have only recently moved here. Cho clicks her tongue sympathetically. The last building was blown up by the rebels from the National Liberation Front. Heightened security or not, chances are they're going to try and target this place as well. And heightened security or not, I'm getting out of here. If it's just for an hour, Eric isn't going to notice. She could just lock the door and pretend to be asleep. And even if he notices, so what? As long as she doesn't stay out for too long, Eric isn't going to declare a nationwide manhunt for her. It will be just fine. Once back in her temporary room, she clicks the door locked shut. She looks out the window, 3 stories down. Then she looks to the right. All hail drainage pipes.